is correct. Is it? I don't know. What does it say? Yeah, it's probably is. If it's the lowest one, it should be fine. Hey guys, this is Trash with Beyond Bipolar blog. It's been 4 or 5 days since I posted. Today's going to be an interesting topic, and it's going to involve more of my brother. So I am the one that had complications with suicidal ideations, and it was really concurrent back in the past, and it really stressed out my brother. So I just thought I'd ask him a few questions regarding my suicide attempts and how it affected him, and what else I could have been done, if he holds responsibility, if he doesn't, and my own take on if I do commit suicide. So I want to ask you, when was the time that you felt I was suicidal the most?
Mostly, I think his mental health evolved from being more aggressive to being really depressed, and I'm honestly not sure which one bothers me more. I don't like the fact that he goes all irate, although we did that for views in the past, and I did that too. We would kind of blow. We used to create this series called Angry Asshole Asian Twins. A lot of the stuff that we posted was pretty defamatory. I mean, it's against other people, and it was also pretty destructive to ourselves as well. Although at the time we thought it was funny and entertaining, but we kind of figured out it pretty much is like pushing people away. So I'm not sure what I felt about it, let alone we didn't even make the views for the comedy skits. So if I could remember, I'd say probably his worst time was probably 2014, because that's when we were...
I agree.
That's actually when we all just stayed in the basement, just pretty much... My brother pretty much made this tarp, and we would separate ourselves from the entire world and just sit in the basement, wake up really late, I mean, do some videos, but we pretty much just laid in bed. It was not a very productive time. But I don't know if there's anything I could do. I was still trying to grieve over an ex, actually another ex, after I broke up with her, and felt like I didn't have much of a purpose. My brother didn't have much of a purpose. I wasn't confident in working because I thought that all there was just first shift jobs, which I found out, I think around after I found a pretty decent test scoring gig. So after that, I gained confidence and started going in the field, and then I ended up getting promoted, and I ended up trying full-time, and it ended up being pretty okay. I managed. So what's the next question?
But I thought you said me being suicidal was frustrating to you.
Oh, you want me to describe more about that? Yeah, so the way with I react, even though I'd say I'm pretty well versed in psychology, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, that's when I actually kind of lose it. I would say I have a very short temper, like my brother and like my dad. And deep down, a lot of that anger was just hurt, feeling helpless, like you couldn't do anything, that there's nothing that I could save my brother, and it was actually really disappointing. But now that I think about it, I think I'd rather deal with a suicidal person than a son or daughter or a loved one stuck in a drug addiction, because I actually think that's a whole entire animal of disappointment.
Why do you think that me being suicidal, though, why would you hold responsibility when it really was my responsibility?
Because deep down, when you care and love someone, you want them to be happy, and there's part of the things too, that knowing that my brother wasn't really that safe, I didn't really feel comfortable going out too, so I ended up staying stuck in that mud, kinda. And for now, I'm just really grateful, because it was probably since 2017 of the summer where I had to drop off the hospital, and he has been pretty fine ever since. I actually probably had more suicidal ideations since 2018 since he has, to be honest. But I kind of realized after experiencing my own, I don't know if you can necessarily help it. And I think I realized that my brother couldn't necessarily help it. At the same time, even though I do agree that those feelings, sometimes they can't be helped, it's more about how you act. And if you choose to act on it, I guess it's all for you. But in the end, you still don't have to choose to do it that way, I feel like. What do you think, Travis?
What were the things that allow you to ease up the feelings that you lose control?
So I feel like a lot of it is a lack of control. My brother didn't feel in control. I didn't feel in control. We were all both out of control.
What do you think contributed to the fact that I started to gain some self-control?
I think it's probably is the meds, whatever meds he's on, really saved him. I kept asking my brother if it really is just his own choice getting all worked up, or can he control suicidality? According to him, he can. Maybe you can describe a little
You
bit.
can't really control suicidality. You have to be on the right medication, because, for instance, if you aren't feeling good, you don't think about suicide, but if you're feeling bad, you think about suicide. And if your mood's low and on bipolar depression, all you do think about is suicide, and it's pretty impactful because it really affects those loved ones, especially when you tell them, and they get frustrated because they know they can't really help you do what you really needed to get done to survive. And the reality is the fact that back then I almost felt like I had no control because I wasn't on the right medications and I was hopeless, and I feel that hopelessness stems into other people's, like a parasitic infection, where that hopelessness stems into other people's hopelessness. And the reality is, if I were ever to take my life, that would be solely my responsibility, but I'm sure it would hurt others. Thankfully, I'm not in that state anymore, but I still feel like people who do commit suicide, it is all on their own to actually make that decision. I don't know. I don't have advice for you guys that have loved ones that actually committed suicide. I don't have that. I have the respect that you are able to live through it, but I don't understand what I could tell you to do, what could have been done, because the sole responsibility lies on the person that takes their own life.
So you want to promote suicide, that there really is no hope, and that's the only option, or what do you think?
I don't think you guys should promote suicide. I just feel like if it ever comes to that, this is for people that are not going through a loved one that has suicide. This is for someone that has already actually done it, and they have a loved one that committed suicide. That you have to take ownership of your own feelings. You can't let someone's death control your entire life. And that's hard to say, because back then when I was pre-med or not in the right meds, I was always depressed and I had no control over it. I was just thinking death was my only option. And when you're in that state, you have a tendency to not have the right perspective on the challenges life has to offer and the hope that life has to offer when you are beyond that state. However, I don't promote suicide. I do promote a healthy letting go, or a healthy acceptance towards a loved one that does commit suicide. It's really hard and it's really painful, but the thing is with radical acceptance and DBT is the fact that you have to just accept it and move on. So that literally is what it entails to.
A lot of it is my own codependency issues. In the end, Travis's suicide, even though it affects me, I understand it's still all on him, and that's the hard thing to separate, because in the end, I probably care more about how I feel about my own brother's suicide than actually how he feels about his own suicide, because in the end, it doesn't make me feel that great.
Well, if I tell my brother I want to commit suicide and I want to do it soon, how does that make you feel?
I usually get pretty frustrated and irritated. But now that I have my own suicidal ideations, I think I could understand it to an extent, but I feel like there's always other avenues. That's the very, very last thing that you want to do, let alone, I'm not sure if it's a really good option, because just because something seemed hopeless now, and I keep repeating this like set in stone, just because something seems hopeless and terrible now doesn't mean it's going to be in the future. You never know the future. You can't predict the future. Just because life sucks now doesn't mean that life won't get better. That's kind of the beauty of things that are short-lived. Life and death, it's short-lived, like time. You never know. There always exists hope, and I fully 100% believe that. Even if my down days, I know that what should give people power is the what ifs. What if things can get better? What if you can find love? What if you can be happy in a job? What if you can find stability? What if you can do anything you really want to do? Because in the end, depression and suicide, I hate to say it, it's a complete lie. It's your own emotions that are lying to you. But not necessarily. Sometimes it depends on your environment. Maybe you're depressed because certain things at your environment and whatever your intent is trying to tell you that whatever is happening in your environment or situation is something that doesn't make you feel good. So maybe it's something that you need to change. And I remember,
what could you say to someone like my pre-self, where I would say, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I wanna cause pain in my life, I wanna cut, I wanna drown, I wanna hang up a rope, I wanna make painful music, I wanna be depressed. What do you have for someone that is like that?
Well, then that makes me actually question, because I guess it totally depends on the person, how much you care about them and how much you're willing to invest. So deep down, I really feel like if someone's suicidal and if you're gonna kill yourself, then you're gonna fucking go to the hospital. That's just how it is, because I know people don't necessarily trust professionals, but I feel like if you can't control it, and if I cannot handle it, or if that person don't want to deal with it, then all your option is just the hospital. Maybe that hospital will help you, maybe they won't, but that's my only option.
It feels fucking cliche, but you know, in the end, if you're suicidal and you're not safe, get to a fucking hospital.
So you even say that. Simple. So you even say that.
And this is
suicidal
for people.
Person,
this is for people that are stubborn. It kind of sucks, because if you're on your own and you don't have support, they can't really take you.
Stop being a fucking idiot. That's pretty much my complaint.
You know, it sounds really degrading. But
I hate to be so mean, but if you're gonna, I know. Okay, I'm sorry that you can't control these feelings, and it's important to talk to people about these feelings, of course. But in the end, if you want to die, something has to fucking change, you guys. You can't just stay there. And there exists hospitalization. There exists, I believe, help for people, like monetary wise, correct?
My biggest downfall is people who go to the hospital, they use that as a crutch too. You have to be in the state of mind where you are totally sick and tired of the life that you're living right now, that you totally change the habits and choices you make. There are some people that simply go to the hospital because they choose to not take their medication, so they're always in the hospital. I know someone like that.
Do you think suicide is just kind of a way for someone just to react and
for some people, yeah.
Some people, they just use it as an excuse, and then...
But you have to make it a personal responsibility to take charge of your life. You can't have someone else trying to win you over, or trying to win someone over just because they feel sad.
Like someone went through a bad breakup and they refuse to go to the hospital, and then
someone that doesn't take their meds, someone that abuses alcohol.
Well, what do you know? Everyone has trauma, everyone has pain. Well, what the fuck are you goddamn doing not improving your life? And if you're not doing that, then fuck you. Sorry to be a mean hard ass, but come on, man. I see all these suicidal depressed stuff, but you want to know what? I fucking was suicidal. I was scared. I did not want to call all these people and spend the work on finding these hard adoption therapists. That is difficult, because most therapists don't want to accept medical or governmental insurance, because they're fucking goddamn crooks, because they take half of the earnings from the client and the provider. So it gives the providers who require more licensure and more education, yet they're being paid less, so there's no goddamn motivation for these providers to want to help the poor people, even though the poor people are the goddamn people that probably need the most help.
What is your advice for someone that has like these
Be
issues?
angry. Stop fucking mowing around. Stop fucking goddamn crying. Stop fucking feeling like there's not hopeless. That's not true. You gotta be angry. Be fucking angry. It makes me pissed, because I feel like anger, even though it's kind of a what do you ever call it, a crazy eight, it's better to be angry and fucking do something rather than nothing at all, and then end up not being there the next day. What is your feeling? Do you think my anger is beneficial?
How do you tell someone in a really nice way that you need to start making better choices? You can't. You can simply just be non-judgmental. Like, Kyle's totally being judgmental, but the fact is,
I guess you're right, I am being judgmental.
But the fact is that bottom line is, it's really up to you, and if you can't realize that's going to be up to you to make that responsibility to take charge of your life, then no one's going to tell you. No matter how angry someone is, no matter how nice someone is, all you can do is be there to listen. But that isn't good enough for people that have loved ones. They want something quick and easy, but it's not that easy. It takes experience, and it takes time. It takes patience, which a lot of people don't have. So my ideology, how can you make this a simple fix? You simply have to You simply have to change your choice you make, the habit you make, in a very quick instant. It has to be the strong desire. Maybe you're sitting at your lowest of lows and you finally say, fuck it, I want to change my life. I want to be a better person. And it's really simple as that. One instant choice can make you a better future for your entire life.
I'll give you some advice that I was listening to Jordan Peterson. I have a great respect for him. A lot of people don't like him because he's really conservative and he seems to be pretty Republican. But regardless, he says it still comes down to the powerful of choice. In reality, people don't realize it's more painful being where you're at and staying where you're at than actually making the change and being afraid of that change. And granted, it does make me upset. It does get me angry because I feel hopeless and I feel like there's nothing I could do for you. But I'm just trying to establish that, what is your why? Why do you want to live?
There is no.
I hate to say it.
I hate to say it. There is no energy in depression or sadness, but there is energy in anger, and anger will actually probably let you take the action. Sadness doesn't. So give yourself the opportunity to be angry about. Give yourself the opportunity to be frustrated, because in the short term, it might seem like nothing's going on, but in the long term, you're closer to getting to the objective, which is to be more stable in your life.
Let's ask this. What is something in your life that doesn't make you happy? Deep down, perhaps sometimes you're not happy or feel that good. Maybe it's a situation. Maybe you don't feel like you're living up to your highest version of yourself. Maybe it's something that you actually have to let go of and find other grateful things that are happening with your life. Deep down, life is still rare. Life is still... It does have meaning, but you have to create that meaning, even if you don't know what that is. But sometimes it is just sticking it through. But I'm saying, if you're just wanting to die like that, then what the fuck are you goddamn doing? Don't just sit there. Go to the fucking hospital.
There is a quote that I just came up with that I think is really beneficial for people that are suicidal. Quit moping and start coping. So find ways to make your life better. Start finding ways to take action. Start finding ways to take the next step instead of just sitting there listless and not willing to do anything. You have to be inspired. You have to take the energy. You have to take the time. Maybe you can get out, take the support. And if you don't have the support, you can at least get yourself out of bed and do things that really need to do to get done.
Okay, so I also watched something from Mel Robbins today. She has this thing called the 5 seconds rule. And even though it's as simple as it is, and there's something you don't want to do, you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then up, and you just fucking do it, even if you don't want to fucking do it. Also, Joe Rogan, he says that he's one of the most lazy people out there, but in the end it's about discipline, and he knows deep down if he doesn't take any action, and it's about action only, not how you feel, it's about taking action. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Yes, we understand that. Actually, I don't know if I understand that. Maybe I don't. I do it to an extent, but there has to be solutions, you guys. You can't just fucking just float in water and not realize that your own mortality is ticking, that there are things that you can achieve. And you don't want to be like 90 years old and sit there and have regrets. That's the number one thing. And maybe there's people who are saying, maybe you're right. I know you're pissed off at me about being suicidal, then you don't understand me. Maybe I don't, but I do want you guys to know that there has to be a solution out there, and you have to believe in that solution with an iron fist. And that's what I'm trying to express myself today, because it frustrates me, because I did not want to find a therapist. I did not want to go through all this rings and perhaps find a shitty therapist, go through that cycle, but in the end I did it because deep down I knew I needed to talk to someone, I needed to vent, and I did it, and I found someone that I pretty like, and I think she likes me, and she likes working with me, but it's sometimes you just have to take that fucking goddamn action, that 5-second rule. I have to make the bed, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, just fucking do it, and then in the end, you can lay around all you want, but in the end, hey, maybe you accomplished something. Maybe that actually made you feel good that you actually did something. So, I don't know. What do you think?
You know, this video might, from an outside perspective, for someone that is listening to this and maybe suicidal and want to end their life, there are non-judgmental ways to say things. You can do it in a calm voice. Understand and take the fact that someone's actually listening to you, and I think that is more something that we with suicide ideation just want to be heard and listened to, and we can definitely do that. But I hate buts, but the thing is, and the truth is behind, there is always another avenue you could take, a better choice you could start making in your life right now that could benefit your future.
So give these people
I'm trying to say this without swearing. I'm trying to say this in a calm manner, but I am saying with some affirmity, and the fact that is, life is meaningful if you find an avenue and take that choice to actually want to do something with your life.
Share your why you choose not to die versus...
There is no why for me. It's just I'm on the right medications. I'm not thinking about it. It's pretty simple. The science is there, is that when the meds start working, you can start coping. So there's really nothing to it. Just the hard part is actually trying to find the right med. I've been on 30 different medications, and that's the hardest part, because sometimes they don't work. So you got to keep trying and trying, and that's really what, in a nutshell. Anything else?
So in the end, I think my example of me getting kind of angry maybe is a little acted, but there is a lot of frustration. But it's kind of an example how I deal with mental health issues. Whether it actually helps or improves, I don't know, but I just know for the fact sometimes anger can be useful if it puts you in the right action. And Travis is 100% right. Sometimes people just need to be people to listen to, and that's probably why you need a better therapist and a professional that actually could take control and have control. But in the end, we are also all humans, and maybe we should just title this video, "Do you want to kill yourself? Fuck you. Here's why you shouldn't." I don't know what you feel about that.
You know, I think we pretty much blabbed our way through this video, but I hope for the guys that continue to listen to this video is that there is hope. We'll take a listen. We'll try to be as non-judgmental as possible. We'll try to take a earful of you guys and listen to your story without any judgment, as well as in a calm voice, which is something people want. I'm not trying to burn bridges here. I'm just trying to get myself to a visibility of people that are struggling out there, that are hopeless, that can finally find this video and maybe start making better choices for your guys, and not just tomorrow, but today at the second. So is there any last words you want to say before?
So deep down, there's always an answer. Even if you don't have a why, it doesn't matter about your why, because in the end, you don't know. You're not a fortune teller. No one can predict the future. Things can always be better. So despite my frustrations with suicide and mental health issues in general, I just know for a fact that things can always get better and look better. And I just hope things do look better, and I hope you guys can make the powerful choice to live a better and happier life, and that it is possible, and it can be achieved. So with this Beyond Bipolar blog, we're gonna sign off. Please like, hit subscribe, and please comment below, and hit the bell button for notifications. Is there anything I missed, Travis?
Nope, that's it. Well, take care, have a good one. This is Travis and Kyle signing off with Beyond Bipolar blog. Hope you guys take a listen to this, and for those that continue to listen to my story, my experience, my advice, my motivations, my fitness goals, take care, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.